Joe, another outstanding test match, and your team played its full part, but how disappointing to lose 10 wickets on that fairly placid last day pitch.
I mean, it's frustrating not to be able to get something from the game today. You know, turn up this morning and really feel like we had an opportunity to win the test match. And, you know, especially for that opening partnership, I thought was outstanding. Credit to India, they got the ball to reverse and they made good use of that. It was a brilliant spell of bowling from Bumrah, and that really was the turning point in the game. So credit there. I think more from my side of things, we'd look at other areas in the test match where we may have missed opportunities. It could have been a little bit better, could have made more of an advantage of that first innings lead. And obviously in the field as well, as difficult as some of those chances where you've got to take them against world-class players. We'll
perhaps touch on one or two of those areas. Just on this afternoon, you mentioned Jasprit Bumrah's spell there. Is it just occasionally from time to time in this game you have to shrug your shoulders and say the opposition were too good?
I think you've always got to look to find ways of getting better and manage different periods of play, absolutely. But at the same time, you've got to be realistic about things and understand that was world-class bowling. You know, he saw an opportunity within the game and you know, performed extremely well. And sometimes you just got to find a way of managing through that period. And it's something that we'll look at. You know, look at where we're going as well. There's a chance there might be some reverse swing at Old Trafford. We'll have to make sure that we manage it better if we come across a similar situation.
If we go back to the start of the game, you won the toss, put India in. You got a very healthy first innings lead. So do you think that absolutely vindicates the call, despite what happened on the last day?
Whenever you lose the game, you can look at the toss. I think more than anything, you look at what lead we had and what we could have potentially had. I think that's the thing that we've got to be a little bit more ruthless there, in my opinion. We've got to make that a 200-run lead instead of a 100-run lead, especially the way the surface was playing. And as I say, it's about those big partnerships. We had a number of good starts and the guys get in and not manage to go on. And I think that's something that we've still got to be clinical at, not get complacent. Not get comfy, is go and make those big hundreds, go and make those big partnerships which really set a game up for you, which we did just a week ago as well. Let's not forget that. We have played some very good cricket, we've done a lot of good things with the bat, and you know, it's important to remember that when we go to Old Trafford as well.
So you're pinpointing that area either side of T in the first innings when Ollie Pope fell, then Moeen Ali fell. You felt that 100-run lead could have been pushed to a more significant one.
Even earlier than that, I look at my dismissal as well that evening, and you think you go into the end of the day with one less wicket down, it could have looked very different the next morning. So, you know, you can pick out individual. I don't think that's the case. I think collectively as a batting group, every single one of us, we've got to really look to, you know, you get to 20-30, you go and make it really count.
You mentioned the fielding. I think there are about 6 by my count that were put down. It's an ongoing issue for you in the slips.
Yeah, I mean, there were some very difficult chances there. You know, I think a lot of other players might not have even got to that one that Burnsy went to. In fact, they covered so much ground. It was a great effort. It is a very difficult viewing ground at times here, but it's no excuse. We've got to keep looking to get better. We've got to keep looking to take those chances. And, you know, we'll certainly do that. It's not for lack of effort. It's not for lack of work in practice and how we're preparing for the game. So you just got to, you know, just keep putting yourself in those positions to go and be brave enough to take it on.
It's a punishing series as far as fast bowlers are concerned. We're coming to the 5th test now that's hard on the heels of 4. How are your seamers in that dressing room? There are 1 or 2 injuries floating around as well. I understand Saqib Mahmood's gone in the side today. And what's Mark Wood's situation?
Yeah, Woody's coming good for us. That's promising going into things. It has been frustrating somewhere in terms of the amount of injuries we've had to contend with. There's no getting away from that. That's not an excuse at all. It's just something that's been difficult to manage this last little period. But those guys that have had the opportunity to go and play, you know, the way that they've thrown themselves into this series, they've been excellent. And you know, it'd be one big push for the guys that go out there and play next week at Old Trafford. But their efforts and their skill levels have been very high. So I'm really proud of those guys in that respect.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time. We'll see you in Manchester.
Thank you.
And now for a few words, Indian captain Virat Kohli.
Virat, London has been very good to you on this tour. 2 last day victories that I think will go down as amongst the best that your country has produced.
Well, I think the best thing about both the wins has been the character that the side has shown. I think if you look at how the game panned out, you mentioned a 100-run lead that England had in the first innings. To come back from there and the way we batted in the second innings showed that, you know, we're not down and out. and we're not looking to survive in this game. If there's an opportunity to put the opposition under pressure, we will go for it. And we put up a total on the board, which is always going to be very difficult to chase, especially heading into day 4, later half of day 4 and day 5 as well. But yeah, look, as I said at Lord's as well, I'm really proud of the character the team has shown, especially this morning, the way we bowled. I think it's definitely amongst the top 3 bowling performances that I've witnessed as Indian captain.
You had plenty of runs to play with today. Were you always confident that you had the tools to get 10 wickets on what was a very flat pitch?
Well, it's quite relative what you call flat, because the last 2 days conditions have been really hot. So the field wasn't that wet like the first 3 days. And we knew we were in with an opportunity with Jadeja bowling from one end into the rough. The ball got scuffed up quite nicely, and then we managed to, make one side heavier. And our guys, when the ball's reversing enough, they become much more lethal. And, we exploited reverse swing perfectly today. And we were actually looking forward to the opportunity of bowling with the old ball, and we looked at that as a positive rather than thinking, look, nothing's happening from the pitch, what are we going to do here? Rather than that, we believed as a team that yes, we could get all 10 wickets today, and that's exactly why it happened, because the boys had belief.
Right at the heart of that was, of course, Jasprit Bumrah, who bowled an outstanding 6-over spell after lunch.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable spell. I mean, if you give 27 runs off 22 overs on this kind of pitch, I think that's a huge effort in the last innings of a test match where, as you said, the pitch hasn't offered enough. But, as soon as the ball started reversing a bit, Jasprit just said, just give me the ball. And he bowled that 6-over spell, as you mentioned, and got us 2 breakthroughs, which completely shifted the momentum to our side. And from there on, we knew any more mistakes from England and we'll be all over this game.
Rohit is waiting to our left, but I wanted to perhaps reference the performance of another man who might not get the kind of accolades because he's not picking up the man of the match, but Shardul Thakur's influence on this game was significant.
Well, I think you pointed out a performance that, Rohit's inning was outstanding. We all saw that. I mean, playing against a 100-run lead, as I said, as an opener, the conditions were overcast, and his knock was the difference in the second innings. But if you look at, the impact performance we were looking from a lower middle order point of view, I think what Shardul has done in this game has to be remembered for a long time, because even in the first innings he stood up, and his 50 was actually the difference between a 150-160 lead and a 100-run lead, and his 60 in the second innings as well, a counter-attacking one. I felt like it deflated the opposition, where when I got out in the morning they were looking at a few more breakthroughs and probably try to restrict us to a reasonable total. But I think the way he batted again in the second innings was outstanding.
And therefore lots of chat about India's team selection and the absence of a second spinner. Do you feel his performance absolutely vindicated that selection?
Well, look, we never go towards analysis and statistics and numbers. I think people have got jobs to do. They have to focus on a few certain things. Within the group, in the change room, we know what we focus on, and then we take a collective call as to what feels like the best combination for us to walk on the field with, and whatever feels best balanced, we just go ahead, and we believe that we can win test matches with that bowling lineup or that batting lineup as well. So whatever the noise on the outside, we don't really bother with that. We just have belief in our group, and that's carrying us forward.
A final word. Ravi Shastri, of course, the coach, and 1 or 2 of the staff not here, absent, probably watching on television right now. A word for them.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's unfortunate they're not here, but they did call the team just now. Everyone's very happy, obviously, with the win. Also, we get ahead in the series with 1 test match to play. It's absolutely a great momentum booster, because we've been here for a long time, and now this gives us even more motivation to go out there and try and win the next one as well. We have everything that we need to win. We have the belief, we have the team. Even though we rested a couple of our bowlers, we still stood up, and guys did the job with ball and bat in hand and in the field as well. So we just looking forward to opportunities of stepping onto the field and playing for India and being proud about it.
We're looking forward to Manchester as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The fans have been amazing as well. Thank you so much, guys.
We come to the LV Insurance Player of the Match award, who receives an LV medal. This was decided by the Sky Sports commentary team. Several returning players standing out. For England, Ollie Pope with 81 and Chris Wokes with 7 wickets. For India, Jasprit Bumrah with that outstanding second spell. Umesh Yadav 6 wickets, and Shardul Thakur 3 wickets at a valuable 57 and 60. But one man stood out to set up the huge run chase which became beyond England with his 8th Test match century, his first away from India. 127, the LV Insurance player of the match is Rohit Sharma.
Rohit, that's just about the perfect game, isn't it? 100 and you don't have to field.
No, I wanted to be on the field as much as I could. But yeah, getting that 100 was special, really, really special, knowing we were 100 behind in the first innings. And we know as a batting group how important was our second innings. To get to that score of 460 and give them a target of 370 odd was a great effort from the batting unit, you know. Virat just mentioned about the effort from all the batters. You know, it was important for us to put the right step forward. And as a batting unit, I think we did that.
How do you rate that 100 of yours amongst the many that you've scored? Because the situation, you were well behind in the game, floodlights on, heavy overcast conditions.
The best I would say is it's my first overseas 100. So obviously it was the best one. Really glad that we could get the team in the good position. That was the most important thing. Like I said before as well, the 3-figure mark wasn't in my mind at all. We wanted to get into good position. Being 100 runs behind, we know the pressure on the batting unit. But yeah, we just kept our head down and you know, batted the situation, batted the overs to start with. And then once we got the lead, you know, we just wanted to put pressure on the bowlers.
You mentioned that it's your first overseas 100. It's been a long time coming. Has it been something that's been just preying on your mind?
No, not really. I don't really think too much about those kind of stuff. It's important for me to just make sure that whenever I get an opportunity, try and see how I can get the team into good position, try and see how I can contribute to the team, whether it's getting 30 or whether it's getting 80 or whether it's getting 150 plus, whatever it is. It's important for me, like now, I used to bat middle order before I started opening a couple of years back, and I know the importance of opening the innings. So once you're in, you just got to make it count, and I'm glad that I was able to make it count this time around.
We're standing here in blazing sunshine, but it's not always been like that through the series. You and your opening partner, KL Rahul, have had some very challenging circumstances to bat in. Is it a case of just embracing that challenge in England and enjoying it for what it is?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's always important to embrace that challenge, and we know it's not going to come easy. We would just like to go a little back when we were in Durham. We had some real time off to look at our batting group, just get those training under your belt, work on your techniques or whatever is required. After that World Chess Championship, we had about 20-25 days. That was a real game changer, I believe. And yeah, I mean, you could see the results. We batted pretty well. We were challenged. We were put in on a couple of occasions in Lords and here as well. We responded pretty well as a batting unit. We were challenged at Leeds, but that can happen. But as a batting unit, I think we should be proud of what we've done here.
Are you expecting to be fit for Old Trafford?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it looks good at the moment. But the message from the physio is just we got to assess every minute. Don't go too far ahead.
Big smile on your face, and it's a deserved one. Well played.
Yeah, thank you very much.